So speaking of religion and Christianity, did you guys saw this these files that says like the CIA might have found the Ark of the Covenant?
I saw the headline. Yes,
Who were they using, Jay, to find it allegedly?
I don't know.
Come
What?
on. Come on.
Dick
Indiana
Allgaier.
Jones?
What?
Indiana Jones?
No, they were using remote viewers back
Yes,
in
Dick Allgaier. No, I mean I don't know if it was really him.
1988, it says.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
remote
says the
viewers.
report is linked to Project Sunstreak, is what they were calling it, a classified U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency initiative that attempted to gather information on distant targets using remote viewers, which Jay brings a lot to the group, right? Who you follow
Sure.
the most uses remote viewers
Yeah.
when they're talking about like stocks. And I was telling my family this the other day. Individuals trying to perceive unseen or far off locations. I got the document here. Let's see.
So the target number. Oh, yeah.
Right. Let's see. What's the definition? I know what it is, but Wikipedia right here. Also known as the Ark of the Testimony or the Ark of God, is a purported religious storage chest and relic held to be the most sacred object by the Israelites. Religious tradition describes it as a wooden storage chest decorated in solid gold, accompanied by an ornamental lid known as the Seat of Mercy. According to the book of Exodus and the first book of Kings and the Hebrew Bible in the Old Testament, the Ark contains the tablets of the law by which God delivered the 10 Commandments to Moses at Mount Sinai.
Cyanide. Yep.
Sinai. There you go. That was way better. According to the book of Exodus, the book of Numbers, and the, how do you say that one? Epistle?
Where are we at?
Epistle to the Hebrews.
Apostle.
In the new. No,
Where
not
the-
apostle. It's Eipistle.
I totally lost where we're at.
Epistle.
Okay,
I'm
it
not
doesn't matter. Yeah.
It also contained Aaron's rod and a pot of manna. The biblical account relates that approximately 1 year after the Israelites' exodus from Egypt, the ark was created according to the pattern that God gave to Moses when the Israelites were encamped at the foot of Mount Sinai.
Yep.
Thereafter, the gold-plated Assasii, I'm not sure about that one, chest staved were lifted and carried by the Levites, approximately 2,000 cubits or 2,600.
Acacia.
Acacia. There we go.
Yep. Type of wood.
In advance of the people while they marched, God spoke with Moses from between the two cherubim on the ark's cover. So, very important. And they said something about how anyone that wasn't allowed to find it or touch it or whatever would die. So, that's kind of like an interesting thing there, because that's definitely in the CIA's pocketbook to be like, oh, the Jewish guy died. Oh, the Mormon died. And they just keep bringing, guys in to test it. And they just, all of a sudden they explode or something. I don't know.
What's the one true religion? Here's the test. Lay your hand on the covenant.
Ooh, right. But here, I've been talking to my wife about this. This is interesting. So, like, what year is it in China right now?
Well, I'm assuming they probably use a different...
Like 3,000 something?
Is it?
Or 4,000? Like, they're way ahead because they keep track of their history.
Right.
Oh, yeah, 4,000 something.
4,720.
4,720 on the Chinese calendars. But how many calendars is it 2025? Allegedly. It's a whole different topic there. But what I was getting to, though, is that we use like BC, right? And AD. And that's straight out of the Christian Bible. Yeah. Isn't that weird?
You know what's even weirder is now they're trying to say that has literally nothing to do with Christ and it has some completely different meaning.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They have different names for it in colleges now to remove the religious practice of it. But whether they change the name or not, there's a reason it started at that point. Mm-hmm. And it has to do with Christianity. So I was telling my wife, I'm like, it's weird. It's like it's a big board game, right? And you got some people playing a different game here on this board game and here and here and here and here. but it's all on the same board game. Really
Yeah, it's like
weird.
they're all playing on the same board game, but they got different sets of rules they're all abiding by.
Right, because whether China thinks it's in year 4,269,000, it doesn't matter. They date those checks as what?
Do they?
2025.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
kind of
I
contradictory.
I think so. I don't know. I'm just guessing on this one. Actually, that's a BS guess right there. But I guarantee you. I mean, I bought stuff on Amazon before, and it shows the date. You know what I mean?
Shit, I wonder what they do. Yeah, you're right.
Right. And then all around the world, the most like just like the dollar, universal, monetary thing that it's backed by the U.S. dollar, which is Christian related. Like the roots go so deep that our time and everything is based on it. So I was like, that's really weird. Other religions don't really have that. Because if they're like, we believe it's 4,000 and something, when we all come to the table and start playing the big game that we're all in, it's the year 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you believe that, what was that? That the Dark Ages didn't exist, and that's why they're called the Dark Ages. Did you guys hear about that one?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the missing years.
Yeah, the 300 years, the buildings didn't change, nothing changed. There was no history written for
Yeah.
like 1,000 years. There was history. The buildings changed all the time. For 300 years, we called it Dark Ages. We called it Dark Ages because there's no information about it. Odds are is that some pharaoh or something, right, or some king took that and said, I want to be at the year 1,000, is what they've dialed it down to. I'm the ruler of the year 1,000 because it's such an important year, right? Even though it was the year 700. So it
Mm.
jumped. So 1776 hasn't happened yet, Nathan. It was 1476. So it's interesting, and I always smile about it because it's like when Alex Jones says, the answer to 1984 is 1776. What's going to happen in 20? You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Wow.
2076.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also kind of plays into the whole Nostradamus year 2012, the Mayan calendar
Mm-hmm.
ending, and they're like, well, there's different theories. They said that the world as you know it is going to change, not the
Mm-hmm.
world as you know it's going to end. But there's other people who say, well, it's because we're actually not in the year that these calendars are aligned with. We're not really hitting the
Yeah.
year 2012 and 2012 as far as the Mayan calendar, follows. So yeah, all I know, one thing is for sure, we never know when that day is going to come. And, just it's so easy to forget, that our time here is temporary and you could walk out the front door and get freaking you could choke on something and die. And so you got to really appreciate every moment. Like I have a buddy at I was at a meeting a little bit earlier today, and I just saw him a couple months ago at the last meeting, and he was doing perfectly fine. I guess right after he left, he had a fucking stroke and almost died. He was in the hospital for like a month, and I'm like, what? And so yeah, he was at today's meeting. And I was like, oh, I thought you were bringing lunch, and he said, oh no, I had a stroke. I'm like, wait,
Was he
what?
vaccinated?
I didn't want to ask, but that was the first thing that came to my
Yeah.
mind, and I
It's
bet you he
gotta be,
was.
dude. It's
Yeah.
gotta be the first thing on everyone's mind. Because it's not coincidental.
No.
I mean, there's been like, I gotta turn my camera on for this one. Unfortunately, there's been a few people like in your life specifically, one of which that in mine, you know what I mean? And have passed. And I believe that the root cause to all of it started with the domino effect, and I believe that's what it was. See, the thing about COVID is it didn't slaughter people. The loneliness, the seclusion, and then the shots, right? All of that mixed together, that's a hard thing to come across. Like you said, the year 2012, you wouldn't know it as before. And I was going to say that it wasn't like the next day everything blew up, right? But
Right.
I mean, even 10 years later, or 8 years later, things started rolling, the ball started going. I mean, Obama ended with a boom, and then it was Trump, and then we're starting to see something in the world that's, whoa, this is different, And then there's COVID. And I think we're still having like repercussions because of that.
Yeah.
And it's gonna continue to happen. And they won't release any results of anything for real. They won't. And that's something they should declassify. I don't know why that topic hasn't come up. You know, they've oh, we're pretty sure it came from a lab. Okay, then what? Now what?
Yeah,
How about the
it's an
data?
accountability.
You know how many
So
high
it's
school kids like hung themselves and shit because they couldn't go to school?
Sure.
You know, and
so that
regular high
information
school
starts
kids
to
with
come
good
out.
parents.
It's
Sorry,
starting to
Jay, what
come
was
out,
that?
but in small dribbles, because everything else, or like all of the other news, is taking over, like overshadowing the whole COVID release thing, the whole COVID truth behind the vaccinations and the whole pandemic. I read a article the other day about Fauci and that he didn't know what like he made up the whole 6 feet rule.
Yeah.
He made up
No, a 12-year-old girl made that up. Or 8-year-old girl, something like that. She made it up. They took her into a classroom and she decided like, hey, you know, like what would help? That and the masks. Like a little girl made that up.
Social
Was
distancing.
the rule. Yeah, they
Yeah.
went off of that. It was a
Yeah,
child that, and they're like, that's a good fucking idea.
that's a fucking retarded idea. It's like, what, you think because you're 6 feet away, you're not going to breathe the person's air? What the fuck? And then you take a step forward because you're next in line and you're now in their little air bubble
their
that they were in,
pocket of air.
their pocket of air. Like, what the fuck?